everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot, and I'm really excited to welcome a guest today, Zack from the Tiger's Abyss. Hello,
Hello.
Zack. I will check with everybody in the chat, but little bit of backstory. I'm trying to remember. I came across your channel, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, or I don't know if it was longer than that or not. And I never knew when you were on. I don't know if you decided when you're on or not, or if you're just always kind of like pop up, at the last, whenever the whim strikes you.
Whenever I want.
I think that, there's an upside and a downside to that. I mean, when I started originally, I scheduled like once a month, and then the time would roll around. I thought, oh crap, I got to do that today. I'm not in the mood, and I really didn't like the schedule thing. And then I just started, I think, a lot of people get burnout when they have a channel because they just can't handle it. I thought, I don't want that to happen. I want to keep going. So how can I work around that? And I thought, well, just do it when you feel like doing it. So I did, but the only issue there is if you don't do it at a regular time, you can't build your subscriptions. If you want that, if you want bigger numbers, people need to know when and where to find you. Mm-hmm. I think my issue, part of it was I was doing like an hour and a half, and a lot of times I was really stretching and scraping to fill the time. And now I'm doing an hour, and it seems to work. I don't know. And I used to be really under a lot of pressure to like write out notes and be prepared for everybody. And then I just can't do it. And it's like, it just seems to work somehow, no matter if I got nothing to say, So, I have a couple vague ideas today, and for everybody out there, I was in a panic. I didn't know if Zack was going to show today because he was very definitive earlier in the week. And then I felt almost like I was ghosted. I didn't hear. I sent a couple reminders, nothing. And I thought, oh, crap. What if he doesn't show up? What am I going to do? And so I did. I did start a clear out last week. And now I don't know if we're going to even have time to do everything today. But I thought I might. If we do, I'll do some of that clear out and show and share some cards and stuff. But anyway, let me first, before I talk to you, you see, that's the thing. I'm kind of shy, but then when you get me going, you can't shut me up. So
that's what it is.
So hello, Marilyn's Tarot Take. She's like always one of the first ones here, and I really appreciate that. And hello, Red Wing. Aldermoon, I'm not sure if I've seen you here before. Welcome. Deanne, Blue Crescent Tarot, love you. I haven't seen you in a while. You're lucky to be here today, and I guess you have time off from the kids and family to do it. These two, what? She says. Nothing so strange. Hello, Tarot Ignited. Hello, M.A. the Gray. Hello. Oh, everybody loves that you're here, Zack.
Of course.
Matt Maru's House of Cards. Zack, I've had a reading from, I think she probably means haven't had a reading from you in a while. Oh, had a reading from you a while ago. Okay.
Okay.
Zack does great readings, but you got to be patient. You have to be really patient.
It's the shuffling.
It's worth it. You're getting a free reading. So, it might take you 45 minutes to get to your reading, but it's worth it.
I have to lock in. My ADHD brain just likes to wander off to different thoughts and ideas. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm doing a reading while I'm shuffling.
Nothing so strange. More than 3 years ago, for sure. Tarot Time Fly. Oh, she was listening to how I discovered it. Nightingale. Hello. I'm not sure if I remember you. Will's Tarot Path. Hello, Will. Will is new. I'm so jealous of Will this week because he got shipped 8 review decks from Debray. And I thought he's only got 13 subscribers, and I have like over 2. And nobody, Do you know this publisher, DeBry?
What do they do? What's
They're
their work?
they're out of South Carolina, I think, and they have nice stock, but it's mostly kind of RWS kind of clone stuff,
Oh,
but but it's good, and it's budget kind of, it's usually it's
okay.
like under 20 affordable stuff and pretty
Okay.
decent. But I mean, I just was shocked because I thought, oh, how do people get these free decks? He wrote a fan letter to them and they just shipped him like a huge box of stuff. And I'm thinking, well, I mean, I have it posted on my info page that I'm willing to do reviews, but I've not actually written anybody a fan letter or anything about it. But I don't know.
I mean, you're doing good. Just keep doing reviews and keep it so that you're not entitled to actually just, because when they send you a deck for review, sometimes they'll let you, like complain about some of the issues that you have with it. Other times they won't, and they want you to,
That's the
promote
thing. Maybe nobody's sending me anything because they know I'm the card curmudgeon, that I always go through the pros and cons of every deck. I don't think I've ever hit a deck where there wasn't something about it that I didn't like.
There's always something wrong with it. Yeah.
Always. I mean, you can't be 100% right. I haven't hit that deck yet. Been here a couple times. One of the Hermit's gang. Yeah. I started off doing my Saturdays at noon, and Simon usually goes at 2. And then one day I did a whole show for an hour and I hadn't hit the record or the stream button. So then I redid the whole thing because I thought I had this content and people were still sitting in the waiting room waiting for it.
Well, where is he?
Somebody was in chat, 1 or 2 people, and I thought, oh, okay, so it's going, but they were just early, and it never happened. So I redid the whole thing, and then I found that I had a lot more viewers in the second hour. I thought, okay, I'm just, Simon's channel is very popular. I'm just going to be a lead-in for him. And it's worked out really well. I'm building, viewers. So mine, right. I don't know if that's riding on the coattails if you go before someone. I
think it's after. I think it's after because you're behind that.
Yeah. They're in Raleigh, North Carolina, Will says. When NMA's put in Will's channel site. So thank you for that. Everybody should subscribe to Will. He's pretty new. Give him a little support. Now, I'm going to just check something quick because where did I put it? Now, of course, I can't find it. I'm trying to remember when I started my channel. Oh, July 16th, 2019 was my first tarot video. And actually, I've celebrated my channel anniversary every July. And this year, I completely forgot about it and missed it. So you're here to kind of help me with my channel anniversary. 2 weeks late. And also, I have a birthday on Monday. So I'm turning 73 on Monday. So you're my
happy birthday
and birthday guest, because I usually had like a couple new people every channel anniversary to like share the celebration with. So I'm happy you're here. And since I started in 2019, do you remember what year or when you started your channel?
I want to say it was 2016, 2017.
Okay.
I want to say around that time. My first videos were the Wild Unknown Tarot and Oracle. I believe I unboxed that from Kim Krantz because I was like, I want it. Let's give it a try. I had the first edition, and I think I find this very fascinating. Somebody has to do a study on this of the number of times people get rid of the Wild Unknown, especially the first edition, and then get the second edition, and then it's like sticks with them for a while. Like a lot of people do that.
Okay.
And that's how it happened to me. And I'm like, I ain't getting rid of this one. You know?
Also, I never heard. I want to know the backstory. Oh, hello, Saskia. I was just seeing people still popping in. I want to know the backstory on your channel name.
I've said it many a times. I've said it with it's essentially based off of the temperance card in the Marielle, essentially, and it kind of just the deck being called, oh look, there she is, the landscapes of the abyss. And so I was like, the tiger's abyss.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And there's also a lot of other tigers in this deck as well. I gotta leave this one out. And so I was like, what should I name it? I think my old YouTube name was like Cloaked Figure 9. I like the aesthetics of a robed figure, like long robes draping over the human body. It looks, to me, just aesthetically looks really cool. But I was like, we got to change this. This isn't gonna work, you know. And I was like, I want to do YouTube now, and so I'm got to think up of a name, and that was it. It was like the deck I learned from, and so it was like it just makes sense, yeah, to me. And also super unique. I think I've only had one issue of not being able to use it as like a profile name online for different social medias. So I was like, nobody else is using it, I'll use it.
And are you open to doing a couple readings today?
Absolutely.
Okay. Out there, I didn't want to jump ahead, but I'll put that out there. In fact, maybe I should do a little. Do I have a banner?
You should.
Oh well, I do, but it's worded weird. I said free readings today using a challenging deck. Well, that was last week or the week before.
We got to do that because I have a bunch of decks I want to read with, but I don't want to like use them even for my free readings because it jams up the flow. Like you intentionally have to have it and have a space to be like, I'm not used to this deck. Let's try and piece it together as we read through the decks. And like, you know, I like that live stream because it's like, how else are we able to work with new decks that are challenging to us?
Yeah, well, I had a couple that I reviewed. Well, you might have been here, actually. You've been popping in on Saturdays. A couple weeks ago, I had one I thought, I like the look of it, but it doesn't make any sense in terms of RWS. Can I read with it? And I know I can read with anything that's got a label on it, but I thought, am I going to have trouble with the visuals? And I had no problem at all. So, and since then, I've looked back at some other decks that I thought, oh, everybody took these right in stride. And I'm looking at the images, and I think I just dragged out the Lonely Dreamer, that Odilon Redon deck.
Yeah.
And there are images in there that, what the hell? You know, but it works, you know, and people like
okay. Yeah.
So anyway, let me just post this.
Which I think it's interesting because it's like that concept of like with the label versus the image, you know, I'm like, one of the ways that I learned with her, Marielle, the most like intimidating decks of all time, is I read with it trimmed. I memorized the cards and I read with it completely, no titles or anything on there. And reading with it that way, it really changes it. And so I was kind of like, I have like a love-hate relationship with the second edition of the Marielle because the titles are right on the cards and it does something to the visual. It does something to how you read the cards, which is why I think, like, again, I think it's valid. People will complain about like the Thoth and the keywords on there. But I'm like,
we're cued right in there because I bought the Thoth because I saw someone had trimmed it. And I got the large one and trimmed the borders off before I was familiar with the deck. And I was like completely lost. I thought, Now I either have to buy a book with the images in it or another copy of the deck so I can know which cards are which.
Yeah, because it's like even though you can see them, they're not in a predictable pattern like in the Marseille. You
Right.
know, you're gonna get random or orientations of the cards, like like the Four of Swords. Like,
Well, I think the pips weren't a problem for me. I think some of the courts and majors were without.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, they can be very with the figures. Very sometimes the court cards can be very grandiose looking.
Mm. So I was gonna put that banner up, except I have all those stuff I want to talk about now. So I'll pop it up later when we're actually ready for
Of
questions.
course.
But everybody out there watching, keep in mind if you want to answer or ask a question. I wanted to ask you, I mean, this is kind of stupid, but it came up during the week. I've designed my own decks, and my favorite one is the first one I did, which is the open face tarot. And I did 3 versions of it. I did it make playing cards, and one's like the regular stock that's just kind of slick and slippery and nice. And then someone, I think Masha, requested a plastic version, so I went ahead and I did that. And then I don't know why I decided to do a linen version. And so I wanted to ask you about cardstock, because what I've discovered over the months and years since I've done this, as I'm using it, it's a majors only deck, and my favorite version of it is the small bridge size. And I find that cards that weren't originally clumping are clumping now over time. And I don't know why that is. Maybe because there's not enough cards in the deck for that weight or whatever. But I find that doesn't happen with the linen finish, because I guess there are like minuscule air pockets in the finish that allow them to separate and fall, whereas the plastic and the other ones are so slick that they almost like build up a magnetism with the cards that holds them. I just wondered if you had cardstock preference in the decks that you use, and if you use any majors only decks, and how it goes for you.
I don't use majors only, but I do have a few, but I don't use them. It seems incomplete to me when I do a reading. I mean, sure, maybe I could try it out maybe in the future, but for now I'm like not yet. I like the full 78. I like all the cards. I like all the pretty pictures. For cardstock as well, I don't necessarily have a preference. When it's bad, I'll know it, and who knows if I'll stick with it or not. Usually, I can put up with bad cardstock if the images and the cards, the art, the creation of the product itself is actually like worth overlooking that. I think one of them, a good example of this would be probably the oh my gosh, the Solara Occulto Tarot, I think.
Okay.
She did another deck called the Crimson Asteria. That artist, I can't remember her name, but I remember her very first deck, the Occulto one. It was like, I think they weren't really happy with the card stock, but it's still a cool looking deck, and people still really like it when they have the ones that have it and work with it. Another one would be like the Davis of Creation. That deck, the publisher like just printed out the cards as they are. The card stock isn't bad, but they are wearing out, and it's not as nice as Silicon Way, the creator of the Davis of Creation. Her other decks are like the Shimmering Veil or the new edition of the Intuitive Tarot. Those have much better card stock. I wish the Davis was in that card stock. But yeah, I don't really have a preference. Linen finish is fun. When it pops up, you're like, oh, wonderful. Like I have this one, the Peculiar Pathways, that I've been using every now and then. And the cardstock on this one is really nice. She does the same with her other deck, the Folkloric Forest Tarot, which is like curated art, in in a set theme. And the cardstock here is very like it's
Pretty
it
back.
feels. What's that?
The backs are pretty.
Yeah, they are. It feels like rough paper almost, but it's protected. Like you can tell it's not. Like it has a feel to it that you're like, okay, this is gonna hold up pretty well. And that's another thing. I want to know that what I'm using is gonna hold up for like a long time. You know, I don't want it to fall apart with by the end of the year.
A lot of people these days like thick matte cardstock, and it's like every time I see those, I'm mindful of like Hallmark greeting cards or something. It's just like I want my decks to feel like playing cards or like a deck that's meant to be played with. Now, I get the idea of a heavier card stock and maybe a larger card size if you've got an altar and you want to put a card up as an altar card or an icon. But these things are meant to be handled, used in your hands and shuffled, and they have to feel comfortable, I think. Now, how do you feel about like oversized cards or thicker decks or thinner decks or whatever?
Or I think people who are publishing decks need to keep in mind of the demographic that they're selling to, and it's usually it's a much more it's a woman dominated space. Hands are going to run smaller. A lot of them are older. Their hands are we got arthritis. People got arthritis, you know? And so I'm lucky enough to be able to use something like the Brady Tarot. You know, that this one's pretty notorious for that. Again, it's that rose petal finish. They're putting out that rose petal finish, and I can see how some people hate it. I'm fine with it. That's just because my hands are big enough and strong enough to riffle shuffle them, you know.
So,
but there have been.
So you're a shuffler. I'm an overhand shuffler. That's where some of my clumping problems come in.
You should still be able to like. You should know the clumping is like organic and not like because you don't have control over it, you know.
Okay.
You should know that you have control over it. So I know what you're talking about. I would say try for the clumping on your cards, the smooth ones. I would say try rubbing them down with a paper towel or something. Just give them a quick wipe down. It might just be oils from the hands and dust clumping it, making them stick together. I think I might have had some of that happen. Not too bad, but give it a try. And maybe that'll help.
Have you ever used sanding powder?
No. I think I've tried it once. I think I've tried I think it was like baking powder or something. And they said like if you don't want to get the fanning powder, you can use baking powder or something or baking soda. And
I'm afraid to mess with that. I don't want to ruin my cards.
Yeah, I did it. I tried it. I'm like, okay, I kind of see what you're doing, but I just wiped it off in the end and said, I'm like, let's continue.
Well, I notice when I overhand, I don't know if there's a way for me to show. Yeah. Oh.
But I do both. I do riffle and overhand.
Yeah. Like when I overhand, now I'm gonna be so self-conscious I can't do it. Yeah, I go like this. Yeah. But sometimes if it feels like there's too many clumping, I'll try to pull down from the other side like a single card.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't do a single, it pulls a bunch. It doesn't separate, and I don't know what's going on there.
Might just be because it's only 22 cards, right?
Yeah, and you might be right about the oils because this didn't happen when I first got them. So over time, maybe stuff builds up. I don't know. Now, how do you feel about finishes like glossy versus, slick?
The rose petal. I don't mind. Again, I mean, it depends. I think if your deck is terrible and then on top of that you have a terrible finish, I'm not a big fan of the glossy.
Yeah.
But it's the Marielle. I'm going to overlook it.
Have you ever had a deck where you bought a backup copy or another edition of that had different finishes, and you liked one more than the other?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
If they've had different variations. So far, when I do get a backup, it's usually the exact same version.
Because I think I bought the Traveler's edition of the Sassurabito, and I think the original one's glossy, and that one's like linen or something. It's smaller too. And
I think isn't the new Sassurabito editions linen,
yeah.
right?
Well, the Traveler's one, and I don't know if she did another one like regular size or not that's linen, but the original one I believe was glossy. Was definitely a difference between that and the Traveler's one, other than the size. It was in the finish. And when I first started buying them, I did get a lot of glossy decks, not because I preferred them, but because I liked the art content, and they just came that way. And I don't usually have trouble with them. Sometimes it bugs me if it's like so glossy that they're covered with fingerprints when you're looking at them, trying to read, particularly if they're mostly a lot of black backgrounds or black coverage and you see all these fingerprints. Yeah, exactly.
It's not pretty. Yeah. So far, I think because it's been like scuffed and used quite a bit, the fingerprints don't seem to bother so much. I don't know if you can tell. Like, I think with the scuffing, over time it's not as bad.
Have you had any chipping on any of your cards?
Yes. And it's heartbreaking to see. I'm trying to see which. I don't think I have any with me that have.
I didn't even know it could happen. And I one of my favorites was an MPC one called RWS 2.0. And I talked Simon into getting it, and then he discovered that his were chipping. And I thought, what? No, crazy. And I went and looked at mine, and there are like little white, dots and marks. I guess the stuff's coming off. And that was disheartening.
I'm like, I wonder if I have one. I mean, maybe this one. And this might just be because of the print quality, but I'm not sure.
Do you edge more or leave them as is?
I edge them when very rarely, like, which is funny because like I think before I came over here, I think one of the things that I did to kill some time, I edged my Minoan tarot by Lorenzi Prince, right? Is that her name? Creator of the Tarot of the Crone and the Dark Goddess. I had the Minoan tarot. I edged that one. I edged what was another one? There was like 3 I edged, and I was like, yeah. And I liked how they looked. What was it? What was the other one? Gosh, I can't think of the other one right now. But that one I did. It was because the backs were like red and the front borders are blue. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna edge this in, and then I was like, lime green. We're just gonna go with it. Yeah, and I was like, okay, this looks much better because there is like that green is throughout the card images as well. And when I do edge, I do tend to like, I'll either just base it off the back or I'll look at the overall color palette of all the cards and do it off of that and see what one color matches that. I have yet to do like an edging of like multicolors for each of the cards. I feel like that would be like, I would know what card is what with that edging style, and I'd be like, okay, no, I don't want to do that because then I'll be like, I know which one of those is like that, and I don't want that card. I want to eliminate that bias here. I'm just trying to find if I have any. I don't have my whole collection with me, but I think the only one that has like any chipping would be maybe my Majestic Earth.
Ooh.
But I use this one a lot, so I'm like, I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the corners.
Are those oversized cards? Yeah, I can see on the corners there a little bit.
No, they're not oversized. They're not too bad. I mean, here's classic. They're just wider.
Oh, well, oh yeah. Okay. Well, that's oversized to me, but I mean, I think of a standard tarot size, so anything that's at all larger. Feels oversized to me. I
Oh, okay.
also have a kind of an issue with Oracle decks. I don't know if you collect a lot of Oracle decks, but and now I don't know who decided or determined early on that Oracle decks need to be a different size than tarot decks. And I don't know why that bugs me, but it does. It's like, and some people do tarot size cards for oracles or smaller, and I appreciate them. But
Yeah.
I don't use Oracle very much. As far as edging goes, I'm a card curmudgeon about that. I don't really get it, and I know a lot of people do it, and I think I'm one of those people that files off the edging when it's like got metallic edging. That, I mean, it's pretty, but it metal and paper don't go together in my mind, and I don't like that. So I file them
So
off with
tell me your ways. How do you do this?
oh,
What are the end results with some of these filed off? Show me. I need to see this.
it works
I've always thought it's because there are some decks that I have that I'm like, I like it, but I don't think gold was the right choice. You know?
I've kept a couple with them on where they work, like the Cat Black's Golden Tarot.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because that, I mean, they're gloss. I have the glossy version. I don't have the matte version. I actually traded with someone to get the glossy one because they look like varnished masterpieces in a museum in gold frames, and it works. But these other ones that are like modern decks and stuff that they throw metallic edging on, I just didn't like it. In fact, one of them that I think I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of or keep is this one. I think was it called In Dreams or Dreams?
Oh yeah, the Dream Vision.
Vision had metallic edges on it, and I use an emery board, that you use on your nails, and it was very easy to just rub off. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe did this one not have metallic edges? Maybe the second edition did. No, I think this one did. But boy, I did a good job because I can't find any remnants of it. But yeah, you just kind of like lightly rub it down the edge, and it comes
one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. You can't do the whole deck. It won't work that way.
Right.
But I mean, I don't heard people try to edge a whole deck at once. You can't. I don't think that works.
No, unless you have it in a strong, tight vise to keep all the cards solid, you don't want to do that because the ink bleeds between the cards, the separate cards. And I mean, you can. I've intentionally done that to give it like a slightly distressed look with, I think, my Deste. I did it with with my Deste cards. I edged them, and I was like, I kind of want to scuff them up a little with the gold, and I like intentionally edged like the whole deck with one, and then as they were like this, I went like kind of like this to kind of smear them together a bit, and maybe cleaned up if too much gold got on the front of the cards. But yeah, but that was the most creative I've got.
Edges off with sandpaper, but there's so many different grades of it. You want to make sure you get one that's fine enough that you're not doing real damage.
And super fine, I would say.
Emery board that you can get in any drugstore for your nails, is fine. I was amazed at how easy they came off. I don't know what's holding it on there because it came off that easy. I mean, some of them were just like a single light brush and it was off. It wasn't laborious, so you had to go over it again and again to get it off. But I mean, if that's your thing,
I mean, some of them will wear off with just shuffling. I mean, so. And some that I know are really good.
I've done it to make it more workable for me, but I kind of wonder now if decks that I no longer want that I want to resell, if people are going to be ticked off that the edging isn't there now,
Just clearly disclaim, like, not edged. I altered it to remove the gilding. Personal preference at the time. That's what I said.
Now, if it were I don't know, do they edge plastic decks? If it were a plastic deck, or if it were like really modern art, then the metallic edging might work for me aesthetically. But if it's, and like I said, the gold kind of worked for this very antique-y art museum kind of quality deck. but they just start throwing gilding on like every deck they bring out as a novelty, and after you do a few, that's not novel anymore, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of just like at this point, it's kind of like just ticking off a box. I think for publishers and producers, like I got this one. I really like this guy's decks. He's from Australia. It's the Tarot of the Crystal World.
Okay.
Well, this is the only one I have, but I really want his. That's the one Oracle deck I got my eye on, to go with it. And so like this is again, it goes with like what does the back look like and what is the color palette of all the cards together. This one has gold edges, and I don't think it really goes just based off the back. And then this is like
Doesn't work for me. However, I have seen recently some have been doing matte edging, which I like.
I like matte edging too. Yeah.
Yeah, that really works. But and also I kind of get the point of like being able to like connect with a deck by physically engaging in modifying it somehow. But I it's like I think, oh my God, all these guys spending all this time dealing with the edges of their deck when they really should be spending more time focusing on studying what's on the front of the cards, you know. And it just kind of drives me crazy. It's like, why are they so obsessed about the edges of things, you know? Unless it really bugs the crap out of you, I just leave it alone.
I think it's like you want to make it more appealing so that you can actually reach for it, maybe.
Yeah.
I think one part of it is also like I think it's sort of like dressing, you know. It's like putting clothes on the deck, kind of. It's like certain colors and certain patterns look better on other people. And that's kind of goes the same with like tarot. Like I said, like I could have easily have just done a metallic gold edging on my Minoan, but I looked at the cards and I kept looking at, and this is a deck I've had for like a really long time, for a hot minute, and I just kept looking at it, and I just like those raw edges just do not do it any justice. I'm like, well, what are we gonna do with you? Like, what can we do with you? I don't want to do you blue, and I don't want to do you red, and like it has a yellow double-headed axe. I think I might have actually, now that I think about it. No, I did the lime green. I was like, I for a second I thought maybe yellow to go with that axe on the back and really bring it and match with that to make it look aesthetically better. I should have brought the deck to show you, but and in the end I was like, the green seems to match better with the green throughout the deck, and that looks better, and it like just fits better, and it just expresses the whole deck's, I guess for lack of a better word, aura. You know, it's the vibe it gives off would be better expressed visually, like so, you know, versus like, because again, like sometimes it doesn't need the gold edges. No. Sometimes I'm like, they should have left it raw and let each creator personalize it to their own
only
delight.
time I've been tempted to edge a deck is I like antique looking decks, and if you have one that has like sort of ivory or parchment paper kind of borders on it, and the edges are stark white, it's like, oh, that kind of is, it feels really off, like modern paper that an antique thing is on. Then I want to like do the edges so that they kind of match or darken to look more antique-y.
Yeah, like I did that with the iconic, memorable, the first of the first, copied but never replicated, I think that's the term, Tarot of Delphi.
Oh, I have that. Yeah,
because it's like, it was like white raw and then like these nice.
Oh, okay, I didn't do that with that, but now I may not, because I'm still debating whether I want to hold on to that deck or let it go. It's one that I thought was beautiful, but I never use it. You want a backup copy of that? Yeah.
This is what this I'm sure has chipping, actually. I forgot. Yeah, look at her. Look at her. Where is she? Right there.
Oh,
There's
okay.
some tipping there. That's not one of the worst cards. Let me see if I can find it.
On the edges, like if you get a scuff down the middle of an image or something, that's where it really is
I
disturbing.
know I got one that got really. I'm trying to see it where it is. It's gonna be a minute, unless, like they say, always look at the back.
Well, it's okay. You can look. I want to catch up on a couple of the.
You keep yapping and I'll listen in.
I want to say hello to Chris, Elemental Cartomancy. Welcome. What you
It's
got?
usually, most of them are usually like near the finger, like that. I think I even got like some glue and maybe like taped it back up a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But this is one that I'm like, I use this a lot, and for how long I've used it, it's held up pretty well.
Yeah.
But I'm
Ma's
trying to see.
by the emery board thing. She says she has one deck where the gilding's so sharp it sands my hands.
Ooh,
Um, yes, exactly. No shuffling works as well. I have 4 kids. A lot of times I don't have time to shuffle. Also, invest your own energy into the cards. Saskia, I'm with you, Robin. I don't trim or edge or anything. I'll go nuts on a mass market deck, but don't mess with the indies. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and I have had. Do you have? Did you get the Moon Baby Tarot? Do you own that one?
I've heard of it. I saw it, but I never went for it.
Well, it's it's kind of based on the hoi polloi, and it's got an inner border, but the inner border doesn't match the corner rounding of the card edges, and,
Yeah.
and even though it was edged, it bugged me, and I forgot it was edged, and I corner rounded it so that the borders would match the corners, and now I've got I had a deck with pink edging with white corners because when I rounded the corners, the edging came off there. But I think I gave it away. So it's not my worries anymore, but somebody who's getting that is going to have to fix it or live with it.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, most of my wear and tear is near the very edges.
Sometimes I don't think that bothers me as much because it looks like it's got the soul of you in it, working with it. It feels like it's been used and loved, I just don't like it if it's like in on the image in the middle of the card. Like if there's beautiful drapery in a painting and there's a big white, mark where it's
It's not like it's so far, thankfully, it's not like let me see if I can find it. I know my Marielle has gotten way more, but I think that's just because of the quality of the cardstock where I have creases going through it. I think the devil card of all the cards, the devil is the one that got the most.
The one that I had or saw that had chips, it wasn't like scuffing, like slashes. It was like minuscule white dots, like starlight or something that like, just a tiny little round dot of pigment came off the surface. I thought, oh,
weird.
Like measling or something. It's like freckling. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't want that to happen. White spots all over your images,
Is it? And it's not linen, right?
No.
Oh, that's weird. I would expect it from like the linen, maybe like where the linen, like the little cross hatching of the linen, maybe it would have happened there, but for it to be smooth, there has to be some granular textures, or maybe some dust maybe got on it, and maybe it's
could be.
The most, thankfully, mine's have been on the backs, but I don't like that either because then I know what card this is. This is a Hierophant, by the way.
Yeah,
and so it's like it's kind of a card that's
memorable.
I know
had decks like that where one card gets a bend in it, when you shuffled roughly or whatever happened, dropped it or whatever, and it's got a crease, and even though you can flatten it out, it just kind of spoils the whole deck because every time you see that card, you see that little wrinkle in there. Yeah. I mean, if I had that card, that would drive me crazy. I would probably take a Sharpie and try and blacken in that line, which might ruin it, but
no, it would probably help. It would probably help. I think it would help, but because it's the gloss finish, I don't know if it
Yeah,
would work.
it would still
I'll have to
show.
look at that. I'll have to try it, but it should.
I actually tried. I got a deck that was black and white. I think it was called the Inverse Tarot or something. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a Marseille reversed one.
Mm-hmm. I have
And I
it.
thought, oh, this will be fun because I can color it with markers, you know, because it's like black background and then the white images. I thought, oh, there's no color to the clothing and stuff. I can take a magic mark. And I started off on the pips because I thought if I ruin the pips, I could still have a majors only the way it is. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I tried a couple court cards and it ruined them. But it
Oh,
was cheap. I mean, I could replace it. No, I didn't. But yeah, so I thought, okay, that was not a good idea, you know, to try and
I would have.
customize a deck, you know.
I would have scanned them and colored. I would have scanned and printed out and colored, and then scanned again and printed out my own at that point, so that
Uh-huh.
you could color on proper paper that could handle it. It's from U.S. Games. It's in a tin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm eyeing it. I like the black and white.
Mhm.
That's one I could. I kind of am okay with the raw paper showing through the edges on that one.
Yeah.
Um, but it's but I think I'll edge it in black when I as I wear and tear it. The oils and skin and dust will stain the edges, and then color it black to clean it up after
I
cleaning
think
it.
the problem when I tried to use a marker on it is the stock had a finish on it that didn't absorb. So
Mhm.
it's like if you use a marker, sometimes if you do more than one line, you can see like an overlap where there's heavier marker there. It's not like a clean color application.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hard sucked in the marker, it would have worked. But because there was a finish on it, it was just kind of laying on the surface like an oil slick. And it just,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
that's,
You gotta find one that's, you
it,
gotta find
rem-
something that's more staining or
it
I don't
reminded
know.
me of there's a Marseille deck. I think it's called the Tarot Classic. And if you look at it, it looks like somebody colored it with magic markers. And I never
Mhm.
liked it because of that.
The like bleed through very quick color things on there. They're not in the lines or.
Yeah, it looks just like I did, you know, like laying on top, kind of like somebody just colored their cards with a marker. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. I have an old version of the universal weight, and there's a big bend in one of the cards. I don't like modding my decks because I see it as adding cost to the deck price, equipment, pens, time. Oh no, Chris, is there a way to iron the cards to flatten them back out? We can blame Jonathan Maruda. I'm sure I was reading for him when it happened. Oh, hello, Jane the Seeker. Welcome. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like going through these and from one comment to the other where there's like no connection. It's like all disconnected. But when I noticed favorite deck sides starting to change color and realized they'd end up looking gooey, I got Sharpies. And I have seen decks that are so well loved and used that are like, ooh, those edges look filthy.
Tired.
I
Tired.
think I think you can maybe sometimes use cleaner or an eraser or something to get some of that off, but at that point, I think it's probably better to edge them in black or something.
I would I would clean first either way because if you edge them with that dirt and grime and oils on it, it won't help the permanence of the marker. You'd be staining the grime,
Yeah,
not the cardstock, and it would eventually come off.
that's a good point. Kristen Louise is here. Hello. I like the Tarot Classic, but since I rarely read pip decks, I can't argue buying it. Okay. I'm on, oh, Jane's on pain drugs. Don't expect from me. Okay. Um, so let's see, where were we? Oh my God, it's 1:50 already. See, we only got 10 minutes ago. We should do a reading. We're not, no clear out this week, folks. It ran fast. So I'm gonna put the banner up. If you got a question, put it in caps, and we might only get to one or two because it's 10 minutes till 2. I mean, we could run a little bit long. Simon's not doing a live today, but it's up to you, Zach. I don't know if you want to hang out longer or not. I do like to generally keep these to an hour, but when I have a guest, they tend to sometimes be not enough time.
You got more feedback. Yeah, I've been there. I could go for like an extra hour, but I'm like, we're gonna keep it to your time frame.
I was thinking back also when I first saw your channel. I think you were collaborating with, was it Wei Kim?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
he was doing stuff also with Tangi, and both of them seemed to have kind of disappeared.
Yeah, he's working. He's during the pandemic. That's when he really like was doing a lot of YouTube work. But now that the pandemic's done, like his work, he's a flight attendant. So like that really impacted his work. So he was able to do more YouTube stuff. We've talked a bit about doing some stuff, but I don't want to pressure him. I'm like, I miss him. I enjoy his presence. He's really fun to have on YouTube, but I'm like, I can't force anyone. So I'm like, my collabs to collaborate, I'm open for registration. I'm like Paris Hilton, I'm looking for a new best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you had an amazing one that I saw with Natalia, the tarot shrink. And I was so impressed with her that I approached her to guest appear on my channel to discuss. I don't even remember what the topic was, but I really wanted to pick her brain psychologically because that's kind of my approach to tarot. And I think I would have invited you at the time, but it felt like you were maybe not into that or too into your own thing to maybe be
I can't remember.
I
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the time and be like, was I having a crash out during that time and I wasn't able to be? I don't know. I'd have to see. But I love her content. I like how she her approach to tarot really is well needed in the tarot space, and I'm like, I love, but I also hate that she like will go away and take down everything off her channel.
Oh,
I'm like, girl, if you're gonna do that, at least put it behind the paywall, put it behind the Patreon. Like, you know, like,
that's a shame because you can all learn from stuff. You know, if you don't like your old content, just leave it. I'm still getting people commenting on stuff I did years ago out of the blue, and it's nice that they're just now seeing it, and sometimes it takes time to find channels. So you know,
I'm like, you have a backlog of content. I think I'm like of two minds of YouTube becoming a social media platform, but you're gonna find that there's I shouldn't say it like that. I should say more so it's surprising how many people actually do have their own little YouTube channels. And I think at the end, like you mentioned at the start of like trying to gain numbers, I'm like, the only thing I really want out of that is interaction and more kind of like something to play off of within like live streams and chats and all that. But I don't seem to have a problem with it so far, but it really does help versus like you're in a live stream and it's dead and there's only like 2 people watching.
My initial thing was I don't know, it was a random thing, but I wanted to reach 1,000 subscribers. And once I got that, I thought, I don't care anymore whether I get any from that or not. But and also, I mean, if you do live stuff and you have a chat, you do want to be able to interact. Now, if I had the numbers like Simon has, I wouldn't want it. You can't keep up with that kind of scrolling. I'm very comfortable with what I have now, which is like anywhere from 3 to 13 people. That's perfect, you know?
Yeah. I call them the little gap sessions. Yeah.
Scrolls by too fast and you can't keep up with stuff.
And there it's like you can't guilt trip yourself in being like, I overlooked someone's comment, or I can't, like, you can't stop and say hello to every single person in there. Like, you can't, like, with that many people. That's why I always say hello everyone. Like I used to be in the chats being like hello so and so, hello so and so, you know, but now it's like hello everyone, like everybody here, hello. You know.
Well, and I found sometimes that you have content that you want to cover that only allows for so much time, and I have a lot of trouble juggling. I can't, what's it called, multitasking. Like if I have a guest and a chat, or multiple guests and a chat, it's really hard for me to jump back and forth and keep focused on my
Yeah.
content, what I want to ask, and also pay attention to the. But people are in the chat for a reason. They're not there just to engage with each other. They want to engage with the host, you know, or the guest. And so I feel like it's important every now and then to just sort of like see what they have to say, or if they're asking something. I see a question here waiting for us that we can read for. And you and I have different approaches, I know already. I mean, I've recently said, I am not a fortune teller. I'm more of a guidance counselor. You know,
I
that's
like the one of the first words that I used for like what we kind of do was in the Mahjong Oracle. That was like the first deck, the very first deck like I actually did any readings or stuff with. And that one called it Advice Giver. I was like, that's actually perfect.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel more like a consultant than, you know, I'm in no way a psychic. I'm not telling anybody I'm a seer or any of that stuff. I'm happy with saying I'm an image reader because I have
Yeah.
an art background and training, and it's like, but anybody can be. You look at an image and you just like see things. And when I saw the Enrique Enriquez documentary Tarology, I think it's Tarology or Tarosophy. I think it's Tarology. It blew my tarot reading wide open. And now I mostly do open readings. I don't do spreads, and it's like I feel like I'm going to get the messages regardless of the direction they're coming from and stuff. And recently, I love majors only, and I've recently started reading my majors only as a grand tableau.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Because there's 22 cards, so you can lay them all out. And it's interesting. And I often read my Lenormand as tarot or oracle. So it's like I mix these things together. And it's just sort of like what the images bring up in relation to one another, like which way they're facing, how they interact.
Yeah.
And so, and then you get combinations and rows and corners and things, and it's like, oh, it's really interesting. But I had my cards laid out and I thought, oh, they look like hieroglyphics on a wall in a pyramid or something. I thought, oh, read them like that, you know, because usually I just do like a 3-card spread. But lately I've been doing this whole grid of like 22, and it's really kind of eye-opening. It's a fun new thing for me.
How do you
pushing that as a thing for people to play, because people don't like majors only, but like relate to it, and people are very definitive about how to use or not to use tarot or Lenormand. And it's like, I don't care about the rules, you know, just do what works for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I also kind of started reading, like I think that's how I started reading. I think the Tarosophy way. Like I would just lay 3 cards down, and it was again, I think with said Marielle, borderless, and just reading how things moved and flow, and how naturally things like will move in a certain direction. Like you usually read left to right, but there are times where I see the cards and I'm like, it's clearly being read. Like I want to read it right to left instead. And I'm like,
sometimes it feels like the cosmos has dyslexia. It's sort of like we think past, present, future from left to right, but some languages read the other direction. And there are people talking about how time is a man-invented notion, and there's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as past, present, future in relation to the universe. And so, I mean, all that stuff is, I feel like whoever or whatever out there, what the system or whatever is going to send me the messages that I need. I'm going to, you know, whether they're in the right order or not, you know, it's I'm going to get it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we got a question here, and it looks like a predictive question, but I'm not going to do it that way. But you might. Will my day go well tomorrow? For Jane.
Let's see. They love to do it. We always say, I don't do these types, but they always love to try. They love to try. Let's see. What am I going to use? What am I going to use for this question? Like, speaking of getting decks for review, I believe, because I asked, I think they sent me, I'm not sure if they sent me one, but this deck here I've really been loving. And it's I pre-ordered it off of Barnes and Noble, and then like the creator messaged me and asked if I would like a copy for a review. But I think by the time, and I said yes, but I think by the time I don't know if it's there at my house or not. Same issue. Like I left before the deck could come in, but this came in before that because it was a pre-order. But I don't know. But keep an eye out. I will be doing a review on it.
I'm distracted because I need a surface. I don't have a table, so I have a lap tray. But I have a spread.
How are you doing your readings?
Huh?
How are you doing your readings?
My lap tray.
Oh no, we gotta go. Maybe let's get your shoes on. We gotta get you a good table.
In here, I'm in what I call the bus, is an aisle down the middle of an 8 by 23 foot studio. I'm sitting on my bed. In front of me is a high chair that's got my laptop on it, like a pedestal. And but I'm missing my spread cloth, and I don't know where it got to. But I mean, I can just use something else. Here. I'll grab this. That's weird. Sometimes the fairies just make off with things and then they show up later.
They just needed to borrow it for something real quick.
Yeah. What do you need a spread cloth for, fairies?
It was cold. You need a little blanket.
All right. Well, now that's bugging the crap out of me because it's like, where would it go? I usually have it rolled up on the chair beside me, but because I hand crocheted it. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Anywho.
So, what was the question? Will my day go well tomorrow? Yes or no question. That's another thing. I don't like predictive. I don't like yes or no, but hey, you know, whatever.
They said double whammy.
This is what
yes
I'm
and no and predictive.
See, we can't.
Oh, yeah.
Going like,
no, because you need a desk surface for it. I was
pull off the back, and it pulls really easily with the linen. But when I was doing that with the other cardstock, it wasn't doing it. So that's where you have to do the table mixing. Oh yeah.
But again, you need a surface for that.
I think somebody mentioned that actually in the chat. Well, I don't know if that was what they were talking about. They said, I don't do riffle, I don't do overhand, they named something else. And some people just like, I've been teaching my friend Maria how to read, and she just like fans the whole thing out and then hovers over a card and pulls the card.
I do that sometimes too. I'll wait for my hand to get a weird feeling from hanging it over the cards for a little while and be like, okay, this one. To me, it's all just a matter of randomizing and not knowing what you're gonna get. And just like, that's the main issue with how I shuffle and pull. If I feel like I can tell what it's gonna be, I feel like that instills bias, and that's not what we're doing here, you know.
Kristen says, I hid most of my old videos. I looked like death warmed over in a lot of them. And then Emma says Tarot Shrink has a bunch of mini courses posted now with associated free downloads. So check it out now in case it disappears.
Yeah, I loved her shadow work course. That was like, it's perfect for doing tarot with shadow work. I think everybody should start off with that.
Yeah. Been to do a lot of GT. Jane says, I'm going to try that with your majors only, Robin. I've been doing a lot of GTs. They are my jam. What are GTs?
Grand tableaus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. It took me a while I was like, GT, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anytime you are, if you have you pulled cards yet? Not yet.
I kept it short this time. I kept it short because you know what? Usually, what it is like I usually will ask like, "What's going on tomorrow? Is there anything big going on tomorrow? What's happening?" You know, that's usually the context. I like to get as much from it, but I have to save it for like in-person stuff. But I got some good stuff. I think it's more a reminder. You know, so it's not a yes. It's like a yes, but you know. So we have the Hermit. Okay, so it's like I don't know how secluded or isolated Jane may feel, but I think it's kind of saying or focus, asking you to focus on, you know, what's going on the inside, perhaps something to do with your position as who you are as an independent person versus the larger social space that you're going to be in, depending on what what Jane is going to be doing, you know. Because this is like probably a very social card as well. We got the Six of Stones reversed. This is what it looks like upright, and it's a very collaborative. You know, it's the whole suit of stones is very like social, big picture collaboration, building infrastructure type deal here. And here it shows the many people working together, but being reversed to me is kind of like you're not working with others as you want to be. And I think the Queen of Tides here being the lighthouse, you gotta reach out. You gotta ask for help. You gotta work with other people. You got to, you know, guide as well, because that's what a lighthouse does. Well, I guess no. Now that I say that, I'm like, no, it's not guiding you. It's like, hey, a lighthouse. I believe ships are supposed to avoid lighthouses, right? Because it's supposed to guide them from the shoreline. That's still where to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the bottom of the deck, reversed, Nine of Stones. So to me, this is kind of like you're not noticing the accomplishments that you have or how good you might have it. What luxuries are being overlooked. So it's like you may have a terrible day, but I think something will come along that's going to improve the quality. There are times where like I'm thinking right now for a personal anecdote as an example is like I'll be having like a rough shit day and then my boyfriend will just call me and like say whatever and he'll just like brighten my mood. Somehow he knows. I don't know how he does it, but he just will. Like I'll just have a terrible day and like even without telling him that he'll and he's not even like intentionally knowing that he's doing it, but just, you know, listening from him is like I'm like, oh, I completely forgot that, you know, this is something nice that I have, you know, something along those lines, something overlooked, and something that you're not being receptive to, perhaps. Yeah. What do you have?
Okay, well, I noticed you use reversals, and I never use reversals. I'm a Virgo, and it's like, oh, I like things to be in order. I don't want things upside down.
It's a new development.
but I've always said, well, I feel like the reversals are incorporated in the right side up thing as well. However, the problem there is I tend to forget that. I have to remind myself that that is part of it as well, and know when to pull on that energy. Because usually I just rely on relationships between cards, but I often tend to forget, oh, well, if I'd done reversals, this could have brought in that aspect as a reversal. And
That is why
I need
that's
to
why I
think,
started doing it.
yeah. Anyway, I've got 3 cards, and my central card is the Lovers. And will my day go well tomorrow? Okay, so I look at the Lovers, and when I do 3 card readings, and I don't know if you heard me or follow me, um, I work from the center out. I think we're the center of our worlds. Everything that surrounds us is the energy that surrounds us. So the important card for me is the center card in a spread of 3. So focus on this is on the Lovers, and the Lovers is not necessarily romantic. It can be a partnership. It's working with someone else, but it could also be your higher self working with your earthly self too, kind of combining the two. So you have to figure out or ask yourself, what is that partnership that I need to pay attention to tomorrow in terms of my day going well? How can I best pair myself with that other person or that other part of me or whatever to accomplish what it is that I want to do? The card to the left, which is in the past, but in the past, is the Judgment card. And for me, judgment is always reflection on decisions that you have made in the past, as opposed to justice, making decisions right now. Judgment is sort of like, okay, we have hindsight because we've already been there, done that in some sense. We've done things that have turned out a certain way. So we make notes of those things and we can apply them as we move forward. It's like, oh, I'm not doing that again. You know, like the cat that jumps on the hot stove. It's like, well, I learned my lesson the first time. So that can play into whatever this partnership or pairing thing is, whatever you've dealt with in the past that you've learned from, or either had a good judgment or a bad judgment about, that's brought you to this place like, okay, how does that inform how I do this pairing? And the third card, which is sort of like leaning into the future and moving that direction, is the Fool. And the Fool is, you know, very open. So I think, yeah, you've got whatever's happening tomorrow, there's an openness possibility there, an opportunity, but in your mind, there also needs to be whatever steps you take forward can't be just like reckless and random, like walking off a cliff. You have to know where you've come from, how you did you step in shit before in the past, you know? And in terms of this pairing or working with somebody or something, you know, how is your moving forward going to affect that or work with that in terms of, will my day go well tomorrow? So it's not a yes or no. It's really all about how you go about dealing with your day tomorrow. And that's so, okay. Now, what I've recently done with my 3-card readings is I've turned them into 5-card readings. I've added the What's Next card, which is just to the right and a little bit off to an angle of the last card in the future, which in this case is Temperance. And that's pretty good because Temperance, in terms of moving forward, is kind of careful stepping. You know, it's like testing the waters, blending things, mixing things. And you're also going to know from that past judgment what things work and what don't, and what's helpful to blend into making this thing work. And then the last card, a friend of mine this summer that I met, he goes, I'll pull the bottom card. He always wanted me to pull the bottom card. I never do it. I said, well, what is the bottom card for you? And he said, that's the outcome. Now, for one thing, for me, it's the most distant from where you're at, but also it could be the outcome, but I'm just curious to see what it is and what kind of bearing it has on it. And in this case, it's the World. So, I mean, the World, Well, I mean, if you're the fool stepping out, you are stepping out into the world. There's like a whole world of possibilities there for you to deal with. But it feels to me like the focus on here isn't so much what you're doing tomorrow and whether it'll go well or not, but how you go about getting there.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. It's how you interact within the world that you're living in. You're not an isolated thing. You gotta connect with people. It's how you interact with people. It's what you do with people. Sorry to interrupt, but I was just like noticing how similar, not necessarily the exact same cards, but
right.
there's similar things. Like you had judgment, and in the same position, I have the hermit, where the hermit is going within
Mhm,
and going into this cave, going
mhm,
underground. The judgment rises them, pulls them out. Not so much with the connection here with the six of stones and the lovers isn't so clear, but I mean numerically they're related, and you do see that again. What relationships do you have with, even not just with another person, but in abstract concepts? Again, your role in your job, perhaps, or within, again, I said like more communal and social within the six here, but it's reversed. So I'm like, something's off, something's not as it is. That's something's switching it. And then you said the fool. The only thing I got from there was like the cliffside, and I think of like a lighthouse on the
mhm,
cliff, you
mm.
know. And
Yeah.
that's where I was thinking of that. And I was like, okay, okay. So for sure, like you said, it is how you interact with the world, not to be like, and like with on the temperance, it's like the easiest thing. It's so easy to say, just don't stress about it. But it's like,
Yeah.
have you actually tried not to stress about
Yeah.
something?
And I love doing this. I mean, I used to do with Chris, Elemental Cartomancer. We used to do sort of tag team tarot. And what I like about it, I also love it in the chat, is not so much correcting what the other person does, but adding our own things in, because we all read cards differently and we all see different things. And I love it when, now, it didn't happen this time because maybe it's the deck you're using, but I love it when I see something in a card that you didn't mention that pops out and resonates with me, that supports the reading you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling when you were doing with the majors. I was like, yeah, wait, they're like connecting. They're saying the same thing. They're trying to say the same thing in a way, to connect back to the question of how Jane's tomorrow is going to go.
And also, I mean, I'm always pushing and defending majors only decks because I get why people want more cards, but I almost feel like you don't need them. And
You
I'm
don't need
finding
them.
the fewer cards that I have, and even these simple ones, I'm still seeing stuff in these simple little doodles that I didn't notice before, 3 years ago or whatever. Stuff is popping out of me on a contour or a negative space or some other element of the image, and there's not that much in the cards. So I think a lot of times with a full deck we're given too much information, and sometimes the
Mhm.
subtleties overwhelm, or we go on the surface and we don't dig deeper because we've got it right there in our face. But
Yeah, it's a lot of like neurological connecting pathways that we have to traverse that can overwhelm us, and it's like again, just to keep like the simple correspondences of like Kabbalah, astrology, and numerology and myth, and being like, okay, which one are we? And it's like you can't. You're going to be there all day going through each and every single one, and you're
see,
going to find that there may be some conflicting messaging that is like, no, you're gonna overwhelm yourself, and you're gonna get lost in the sauce of the reading. Like you don't
and
want.
that's something, I don't begrudge anybody that they want to. Those are what I call layers. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
they can, if you want to delve into that and you want to research and you want to study and you want to add all those layers into your reading, more power to
Go
you.
right on ahead. It's not necessary because
For me, 22 cards and just visual reading and the psychology of human behavior illustrated in the cards works for me. And I don't want to complicate my life. I'm not saying never say never. Maybe some way down the line I'll get into Kabbalah or astrology, but for now, no, I don't need it or want it. Now I want to say, Jane, in response to, well, I think she was responding to my past, present, future comment. Oh my God, I was dowsing for my sister the other day. The rods kept moving backwards. I asked her if the person she was contacting was left-handed and dyslexic, and she said he was. Oh, Madame Maru says a folding tray table would work. Well, you don't know the space right under my leg. There's not even room to open.
Let me show you something that I have, because I finally started college, and what I've been using here, because there's not like a proper desk. Well, I guess here there is a proper desk here, but it's like how the house is set up. I'm like, my space where I like to work and how I work, it's like it's off kilter. But let me show you real quick. If you just bear with me. Mm-hmm. Bear with me real quick here. Hold on. Let me just.
While we're waiting, post your questions if anybody wants a reading, because I didn't notice any coming up, but I will continue scrolling and looking for them. Jane says, we worked it out. I learned to douse backwards. Does that look like a spine? I'm not sure what she's talking about there. So, shows you the land so you can avoid it. Oh, lighthouse. My husband has been such a good caretaker. Zack, did your first card have a spine looking thing? Oh, I don't know. When he comes back, if he still has the cards out, we can look at
that. Is he talking about the Hermit?
She says, your first card, does it have a spine looking thing?
This card?
Oh, I see what she's talking about. It's those steps up the mountain, those stone steps, like vertebrae or something.
I'm going to take note of that. A backbone, a spine to this. I'm keeping note of that. Yeah, I can kind of see it with the curvature.
Yeah.
It looks like it does have that weird that spinal curve.
I don't know if Jane's having health issues with her spine, if that's why she brought that up. I know she's not been well.
Ooh, I don't know how to help with that, but I mean, maybe it's pointing to that. This is what I have. I mean, I don't know if you can. This is what I've been using.
Yeah. I have something like that. Yeah.
This is what you need.
Well, yes and no, but when you fold down the things, they have to sit somewhere that works. And
you don't even have space for this? It's not even that big.
Where I'm sitting right now, my pillow, I'm on my bed. My pillows are on my direct left, as is the edge of a chair. So there's no room for that leg. So I could move over and then like angle my camera more, maybe. But yeah,
what are you filming?
I find this on my knees. My knees are
what are you filming on? That's the real question.
Oh, it's my laptop. It's like really warts and all, camera on a laptop. So it works.
You got to use. I use my phone. The phone is much more flexible and smaller, and it gives more space.
I have one of those gooseneck things, and I would like to be able to find a way to do to have a face on and a top down camera. When I used to use my phone to film walkthroughs, it would be persnickety. It would shut itself off. And, in the middle of a walkthrough, and it's like, what the crap are you doing? I couldn't figure out why, so I stopped.
You gotta go through the settings on it. Yeah,
you can use it not to record, but as a second camera. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, if I don't even have I did have a pedestal table there. Now I have a chair, but I don't even have any kind of a thing that I can clip the gooseneck onto.
You can
as
clip it onto it.
actually I could clip it onto this tray, but you'd see the gooseneck in this shot with me.
Yeah, that's one of the.
So
Yeah.
yeah, eventually I'll figure something out. And I'm on a wait list to move too, but who knows when that'll be. That I'll have a much better situation when I'm there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like that reading of Judgment, Robin. It's taken me ages to get my head around that card. Yeah, it's some of the cards are tricky. I still have trouble with the star card. The star constantly throws me for a loop. I don't get it because my notion about the star card, a lot of people look at it as hope, and I look at it as guidance because, well, and hope can be guided. I think of When You Wish Upon a Star, but also I think about history, and if you go back far enough, people were traveling the oceans and using the stars for guidance. So that's where I get the guidance aspect of the star. But what throws me is the visual of the naked woman pouring water into water and water on the land. The water on the land I get, the water into water makes no sense to me. And the fact that she's naked or, vulnerable, it's just kind of, the information is so mixed that I don't know what to make of that part of it.
I tend to overlook that because that gets to me. It's like, okay, so how I read it is like people say that it's like you're pouring your own consciousness into the collective consciousness within the water and also within the physical material plane, because it goes off into 5 streams. It's like the 5 senses.
Okay.
I'm like, listen, I'm doing a reading. I ain't got time for all that. Like as fun as that is, to me, I keep it as like a blend of the hope and guidance of like. And here's another thing. People tend to pin it as like an afterthought to the Tower card, and I try not to do that because how the cards work. You shouldn't, because sometimes you're going to get spreads where you don't get the Tower card, but you do get the star. So like, why are you going to read a card that's not really there?
Uh-huh.
So now you're reading something that's not actually on the spread. And so when people say like, because after the Tower comes the star, I'm like, stop that. Stop it right there. That's you're linking the majors to the Fool's Journey too much.
Yeah.
And shuffled the cards for a reason. You're not reading the Fool's Journey as it is directly when you do a reading. So why would you bring another card to it? So for me, it's like, it is that like when it is the darkest, that's when you can clearly see that one star. That guiding star. What it is when you've cleared away all the mess and you cleared away all the things that get in the way. It's sort of like the same idea of you working with the majors, only simplifying things. What is the bare core essential? That one little core light that's the star shining.
Right.
That you just keep everything out, and you're like, okay, this is what you remember, what the main purpose, this is what it's all about, kind of.
That's what I tried to do when I did this deck. I don't know whether you've ever heard me explain the origins of it. I decided I wanted to do a deck because other people were doing it. I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. And I advise everybody to try and do their own deck as a learning thing, not to print and share, but just it expands your knowledge of tarot by, dealing deeper with every card. But when I started, I thought, oh my God, if I go for 78, I'll never finish the thing because I don't have that continuity. I will like stop and abandon it. But 22 cards, I think I can handle. So let's start there. And I woke up one Sunday morning, and I just started doodling drawings on large blank index cards. And so they were very simplistic, but and some of them I would do 3 and 4 versions of before I was satisfied to move on. And it took me about 4 hours to do 22 cards, but towards the end of it, I was getting tired, and I thought, I'm almost near the end. If I stop now, I can't stop. I got to keep going. And I did my star card, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It conveys what it needs to convey. In my head, I'm thinking, you can do better. You can do better. But also some voice in my head said, no, it's good enough. Move on. You know, it
Mm.
says what it needs to say, move on.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so every time I see it, I kind of cringe because I like some of my drawings and some it's like, ugh, I hate the image in this card. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
badly drawn. And it's sort of like, I feel a little bit like, you know, is crying over spilt milk, like she's spilling milk on herself, you know, or something. It's just like, it's not pouring on the land or in the water. It's just emptying this thing out. And it's sort of like almost like a distressed appearance to the action.
Yeah.
And the
It's
shape is really bad too. But there is the
it,
star if you want to focus on that.
yeah, but it's reminding me of like bathing oneself.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of like, again, I think that's kind of what the star is kind of showing. It's a woman bathing herself. Like I think kind
Maybe.
of
Yeah.
somehow in
That's
some way,
I
you
love
know.
it when people give me new insights on the cards that I channeled or created or whatever. But it's like I said, I used to use hope as my keyword and then guidance. Lately, I use it inspiration as my keyword for the star card. It's
Mm.
like, yes, we get guidance through the things we hope and wish for, but usually some little spark of inspiration comes from some place. And that's for me what the star card is. I'm still like at a loss as to the focus about this, like, you know, spilling liquid. But I like what you
Mm.
said about kind of bathing, cleansing. It's like sometimes in order to be inspired, we need to cleanse ourselves of our routines, our habits, the things that we're used to doing in order to welcome in some new kind of inspiration. So maybe that's an
I
aspect of
mean,
that we need to think about.
it kind of reminds me of this from the Victorian Romantic.
Is that star or which card is?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yes, the star.
oh, yes, she's bathing.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, and also the star in the Thoth card. It reminds me of, like, I believe not only is the figure pouring water. Okay, yeah, it looks, the visual is like it's above her head and it looks like but she's not washing herself. She's pouring water over. I believe it's supposed to be the planet Venus. She's pouring water on, but I could be completely wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But to me, it's like, okay, pouring water above oneself. It kind of looks like the visual makes me want to think she's washing herself.
I need to drag that card out and look at it longer because the first glance gives me temperance. So I need to like distinguish the two there. Okay, so anyway, my spine is all messed up. I don't want surgery, says Jane. So interesting.
Mhm.
We need to think more about that card that has the spine in it, that it looked like kind of like a winding path or not a straight. Yeah. And what's at the top in red there? Is that a figure?
That's the cave. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
I don't think there's a figure in it. I don't know. Let's see if
what
my camera will
which
focus.
card is it?
This is the Hermit.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Thank you.
interesting. Like sort of like climbing the indelicacies of your spine to come to a place to figure out what is needed. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we each alone have to take some kind of credit for our health care too, in terms of decision making and what we follow or who we believe or whatever. Which doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, alchemy. Oh. Okay. Okay, Tarot Ignited has one here. We're already at 2:33, so I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling. I don't want to. I know you
If
do.
whenever you're done, whenever you feel you need to hop off.
I'm fine. I'm getting a little warm because it's a
Mm-hmm.
hot day here, and I don't have my fans or AC on at the moment.
You
I'm a,
see, I could never. You see, I would. Do you turn them off for filming and live streaming?
if it's too loud to disturb, I don't know if I put it on if the audio is too loud. Let me see if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
Oh, I see what you. Wait, hold on. Yeah, it does. I see what you mean.
So
That's evil.
I've got one behind me too, which might work better, but because it's further away from the microphone. But Anyway,
I would do that. I would try that next time.
I'll try it now.
Because then that way, not only that, it'll be directly hitting you, but also your body would be blocking it from hitting the mic.
Can you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so maybe that's enough. If it bothers you, let me know. Or if anybody out there watching can hear it and it bothers them, let me know. Tarot Ignited. I love the blue eyebrows on her what do you call it?
Oh yeah.
It's a friend of mine, actually the guy that photographed this figure up here, photographer. He came to work at the bookstore I was at back in the early 80s. And the first day he showed up to apply for a job, he had used blue magic marker for his eyebrows. And I thought, ooh, this is an interesting person. And he did end up getting a job and working there. So that was cool.
Oh, nice.
Interested to hear about my soul's mission for this life. My God, that's a deep one.
She wants me to use the Marielle. I know it.
Okay. I'm going to stick with my deck, even though I could go to something completely different. It's just kind of easy. I'm very comfortable with it.
I think the first thing, I think this is the kind of a question that's been like kind of rattling in the far recesses of my subconscious, I would say. It like pops its head up every now and then. I'm like, wait, not right now. Not right now. ADHD brain will confront this question another time, you know. But with the soul, my soul's mission for this, like that question is really like pertinent. Particularly, I think I'm gonna blame my Saturn return, but yeah, it's. I think the main thing we got to start with is what is it that you want to do or you like to do that makes you feel fulfilled in your life that you do. Not like and this is like beyond even like career and how you make money. It's again, what's fulfilling to you.
Okay. You want to go there, or do you want me to go first?
Let's see. Do you have your cards out already?
Yeah, I have them.
I'm still shuffling. I'm gonna do one more shuffle, and I think we're good. You start.
Okay.
You start off.
All right. Now, oddly enough, by chance, and maybe there's no such thing as chance, when I made my deck, and I used the template on make playing cards, I miscounted the cards. So there was an extra card beyond the 22. It was 23 and it was blank. And I thought, I can't just print out a blank card. Let me do something with it. So I took the back design and I put it on the extra card. And I thought, well, you know, people can use it as a bookmark or throw it out or use it as a significator or whatever. But actually, I've adopted it as a 23rd archetype. And this is the center energy of this particular reading. And this is the Who Are You card. And what I mean by the Who Are You, because it's kind of like a question mark. The face is almost like a question mark. It's like right now in the here and now, who are you? What are you? When are you? You said, with my soul's mission for life, this life, who are you right now? Ask yourself that. Figure out who you are. Now, in the past is the death card. And the death card, this past week, I've come to like change and feel differently about how I read death. I was in a discussion group that was talking about grief. And I'm thinking about, you know, death. I'll say death is not death, it's change, it's transition. Well, it's a death of what you're doing right now or what you're going through now in order to move through to get to somewhere else. But there's grief involved in that because almost nobody loves change. Everybody likes the comfort zone they're in. And you have to grieve what you're going through now in order to push it to the past so you can keep moving. And that gives me, whenever I see the death card, I think, oh, I hate it. I hate seeing it. But it gives me a new feeling and a new appreciation for the death card, that it's like it's telling me it's okay. You need to grieve so you can move on. So when I get death now, it's not going to be just transition or change. It's like, it's okay to grieve. You know, it's okay to let go of what you are doing now, what you've been through, because we have to keep moving. We have to keep moving forward. And you're talking about your soul's mission in this life. It's all about moving forward and learning and doing new things. So
Growing.
I think that that's really important. It's like whatever you're pursuing, whoever you are right now, what you're doing, you need to think about, are you clinging to it or holding on to, is it keeping you from grieving and letting go and moving forward? And blocking it in front of that is the third card, which is the Emperor. And for me, the Emperor card is always stubbornness. It's like, well, yes, he's in charge, he's in control, he's in command, he knows it all, maybe. More often to me, he's sitting on the edge of a chair where he's not really sitting. He's got one leg crossed and he's not really that comfortable. He's ready to take off at a moment's notice and go into action. But basically, he's on this square, hard stone chair, you know, that's like not comfortable at all. It's very much kind of in keeping with things we're told to do, behavior that we're, you know, rules and regulations that we follow, things that we trap ourselves into, our stubbornness in terms of how we deal with things. So
it also looks like a ladder behind him.
Okay. Yeah.
A prop and a support. And like you said, it ties in with that stubbornness, like, because it's like, I say ladder, but I also mean like
I love
the
idea of a ladder. I'm fascinated with ladders, and ladders help you move up if you're willing to climb them. In this one, he's blocking the ladder, so he doesn't even realize it's a potential ladder. So the question is, are you doing things right now that are blocking you from pursuing your soul's mission? You know, are you not really are you too concerned about what your soul's mission is to realize it's a process, and you need to like discover it and learn it? It's not like, here's your mission, you know, on a silver platter, this is decided for you. You need to kind of learn and discover it and have it unfold and blossom and open up for you and lead you, draw you. Now, the last card, or the card, well, what comes next card, is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune is funny. Somebody criticized my Wheel of Fortune because they said, oh, I've never seen anybody control their Wheel of Fortune. Like, this guy is reaching out as if they're like spinning the wheel. But for me, it is a little bit of a gamble. Like, yes, you're kind of taking chances, but the optimal word here is chance. You spin the wheel, but you don't know where it's going to fall. You could end up with a crown on your head. You could be dead. You know, it's
like, I mean, like, it's bold of them to be like, well, who's to say you're not the person under the wheel? You know, well, I like that. It's you have the agency to, with whatever action you do, that's a spin of the wheel, and it's gonna give. You can tell what's going to happen with certain, like, you know, cause and effect. You know, I do X, Y is going to happen. And
and there's also that notion about the argument about free will. Like, is it all predetermined or do we have free will? And it's like they both work kind of hand in hand. So I think, I mean, like, I don't do prediction, but I guess in a way I do, because my guidance is sort of like trying to guide you in the best way to predict, not even predict, but to achieve the outcome that you were hoping was predicted for you. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the what's next card. Now the outcome card, or the last one, the background card, is the Hierophant. Now, I'm not quite sure why. I mean, this seems so far away in a way. It was at the bottom of the deck, but it feels to me, the Hierophant always feels to me like seeking out a mentor, digging into the book, studying, going through what has been established before you, what came before. I'm not sure that that's your best approach, but that's one approach. If you want to know your soul's mission, maybe investigate and study what a lot of other people have done and said, philosophically, spiritually, whatever. But I wouldn't say embrace that. Use that as a kind of a jumping off point to find your soul's mission. So I guess
I mean, that is like what my what her question is the typical question that is presented to the hierophants, to popes and priests and
Mm.
shamans, even and all that for spiritual guidance. It's kind of core to what the hierophant would teach to people.
Well, and if you can't figure out yourself through this process, maybe this is simply saying go to your priest and ask them what your soul mission is.
Right. And
You
here's
know?
the thing. And here's the thing. Even when someone is going to say a priest or someone, a guide tells you, hey, go do this, you're going to try it, and then you're going to be like, no, this is not it. And that's a clear way. It's like it'd be a process of elimination. You'll be able to get the answer through that by also being like, well, I'm going to try this out, but I actually kind of like this aspect here, and this is more in line with what I want to do. What other things can I do that can line up with that and pull that more to the forefront, of what's going to feel more in tune with what my mission is for this life.
Mm-hmm. Let's see
That's
your cards. What your cards brought you?
well, mine's a little different. Mine for sure is like the thing that I got from it was facing monsters, and because all the figures here so far, except for the one at the bottom of the deck, all show a reference to a monster that gets slayed or is being slayed or is it's something like that. Nudity, by the way, which I mean, like, do you have issues with nudity in your cards and showing it on YouTube?
No.
Okay, because here's
And people
they're
that
all reverse.
well, I
They're
mean,
all
we're
reverse.
supposed to be adults, so hey,
Right.
we didn't
I'm
make
like
these.
not intended for children. So we have the Ace of Discs, which at first is that in our traditional sense, it's like a gift, an opportunity, but here it's the entrance or the center of the labyrinth where the Minotaur is at, where I believe Theseus goes to slay the Minotaur. And then the next card was the skin of the Nemean lion.
Wait, can you go back one card a minute? What's in blue in the center or green? Is that
Where?
oh that's the labyrinth. Okay.
Mm-hmm. On the belly, yeah.
Okay. Because I remember something about that myth where they go in with I believe it's the same one where they go in with a ball of yarn to find
Mm-hmm.
their way back out. I just wondered if that was in the card anywhere.
Yeah,
Never
that
mind.
was that. No, I'm like I kind of think it's maybe this here. I kind of think maybe it kind of looks, but it's also supposed to be like a winged serpent and also a double-headed axe. There's things to it. There's way more going on in that one.
Go ahead.
It's all right. And then we have the Eight of Cups, which is this child. There's a star right there, and the skin of the Nemean lion, slayed by Hercules, and protective as well. And then we have here.
She looks like, was it Queen Amidala or whatever from Star Wars?
Oh yeah, with the headdress.
Yeah.
And then we have the Six of Wands, with Michael slaying the dragon.
Mm. Which deck is this?
This is the Marielle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so to me, it's like slaying these beasts, these monsters, the bull, the lion, the dragon, or the serpent, which could also be Scorpio, but I'm getting ahead of myself there. It's like I warn of people of having a hero complex. That's how we get into that's where the ego kind of tries to get in the way. You want to make sure that you're not fighting monsters in a physical sense, but you're fighting I would say it's more like healing problems. There's a shift here. Like these all had clear missions, of right and wrong, of what to do. Theseus has to go into the labyrinth and kill the monster. Hercules has his trials that Hera is giving him. And then we have the Six of Wands with Michael slaying the dragon, which I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the actual devil or if it's Michael slaying a dragon. I'm not familiar with the story particularly, but I am familiar with the imagery, and it's always the Saint Michael slaying a dragon. And there, the missions are always so clear. I think the question is, what is your monsters that you're going to slay? What are those that you're going to know? But I say slay, but the Six of Wands does say, like, you're not supposed to kill these things about you. This is like, it's like shadow work. You're supposed to learn to tame them, acknowledge them, accept them, and integrate them into yourself, and be a better person that way. Explore that fact, look at what those monsters are, I guess. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Cups, another angel. I believe this is Uriel, and he's rising out of this water. And it's supposed to be evocative of the moon card, of the crustacean rising out of the water. And so it's about bringing up those deep emotions from deep within and having them rise out. I also got like the image, like to kind of rhyme it with the rest of the monsters, of Tiamat, the primordial creative mother monster serpent goddess dragon thing from Mesopotamian mythology, that was slayed as well and it was integral to the formation of the world, to the Mesopotamians or Babylonians. I can't remember the specific, but that is what I got from there. And so to answer that, to answer the question, I guess slaying some monsters. I don't know what that is, but
I actually see that connecting to my reading, because for me, the monsters are the death card and the stubbornness in the emperor card. Mm-hmm. It's like, like the death is a monster, when he comes. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that we don't want to change, that's monstrous. We need to go through it. We need to conquer that to move on. Mm-hmm. And then the stubbornness kind of blocking our way, that's another monster. It's a stumbling block. So they're both kind of challenges that seem monstrous or overwhelming. So it's like, in mine, they're not literal monsters. In yours, they are. But I see them as the same thing. They're both kind of difficult challenges, mm-hmm. is what they are.
Yeah, that's what they are. Yeah, the at the end of the day, like I said, they weren't like actual monsters or people or such. They're metaphors.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all metaphors.
Yeah. Good. I think that's great. If you have time, it's about 2 to 3, and I hear the thunder here. I think we're gonna have lightning in a minute. Just want to. I paused that in the chat, and now I missed somebody's. Fool in the Mindscapes deck is a ship, so that lighthouse is pretty cool to go with it. Jane and I did reading together where we saw Gerald's wedding. That was kind of predictive in a bizarre way. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I find the Tree of Life in Kabbalah intriguing as a philosophy of being linked to quantum physics and where the metaphysical and physical sciences converge. That's kind of my approach to spirituality or religion. For me, my religion is where science meets metaphysics, and I won't go any deeper than that. But let's see. A reading, please. Oh, here, Will. A reading, please, about my path, reconciling my faith beliefs and where my focuses should be. All right, we'll go with that. This might be the last one, guys, because 3 is a nice number, and we've spent quite a while here.
Let's see.
And again, subscribe to Will's tarot path so he can get at least to 20.
We all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what to use? What to use? Hmm. Hmm. I have no idea what deck to use for this question.
I could go ahead and start, but I don't want to distract you from your intuitive pulling a deck.
Don't worry. I'm like, I figured it out. I'm using the Majestic Earth.
Okay, cool. I have sort of FOMO about that deck. It's like I kind of wasn't interested at the time, and now, of course, that you can't get it, I am sort of interested in it. Now, does that have a couple of cards that are horizontal though, rather than See, that would kind of.
But you can take them out. You can take them out. They're like 4 elemental extra cards. They're really not.
Oh, yeah. It's not part of the tarot system.
Yeah, I like to keep them in. I keep them in sometimes. Of like, okay, but sometimes they do get in the way, and I don't mind horizontal cards, but they are like they are designed to be like you can keep them separate.
I also have trouble with decks that rename cards. I don't know if you. I guess you don't have trouble with that so much. You have stuff. Yeah. I mean, I know how to work with them, but it's like a stumbling block. It takes me longer to translate, and I have difficulty. I mean, I love the Forest of Enchantment, but I hate the renaming of the suits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so I guess I'll go ahead. So, my path, reconciling my faith beliefs and where my focuses should be. So this is a little reminiscent of the previous reading. Well, the central energy on this one is, for me, the Fool. And so, I mean, the fact that the fact that you sense that there's a problem, you're not as far gone as you think you, the fact that you brought up this question means that you're sort of like on your way in terms of following your path. The focus of the energy here is pursuing your path. It's kind of like very obvious. It's right there out front. Now, in the past is the Tower, and the Tower card I used to have great trouble with, because for me, the Tower card victimized people until I got the Everyday Witch deck where the witch is wielding a wand that brought the Tower down. I thought, ooh, that gives her agency. She has control over the Tower. And a lot of times we stagnate, and and sometimes unpredictable things happen to us and we don't like it. But sometimes they stay the same too long. The foundation is so firm that we don't want to make changes, and we need to kind of take it by the shoulders and give it a good shake. So for me, this is the shake-up card. Whether something's shaking you or you're doing the shaking, it's like you're the one that has to kind of take that step. And I see, in terms of this question, your faith and beliefs feel to me like they have shaken your sense of where you really want to be in terms of venturing forward and exploring. The third card is the Sun card. And the Sun card for me often is enlightenment or pursuit of enlightenment, which sounds like you're already on the path and you're continuing in the right direction. So I don't know, that's not really telling you very much, but it sounds like you're already doing what you're doing. The what comes next card, this one's a little tricky. Zack might be able to help me with this. This is the Devil. And the Devil card for me always is temptation. Now, the question is, what is tempting you with regards to pursuing your beliefs or reconciling your faith beliefs? Are you being drawn or pulled back to those beliefs? Are people pressuring you with your old religious habits? What is happening? Are you, is it as basic as fearing the devil? Oh my God, I'm doing tarot. Am I doing the devil's work? Is it as simple as that? Is that, yeah, is it? I don't know. I think, and a lot of times I say tarot doesn't always give you answers so much as it supplies the questions for you to ask yourself and find the answers. So I would say, I would ask you to ask yourself, what is it that's tempting me or creating a problem for me that's, giving me trouble? You want to
I
jump?
liked I liked how, sorry if I'm interrupting, but I liked on your double how they're not, the two figures aren't chained, and they don't necessarily seem to me like, um,
They're standing on the palms. They're not trapped at all.
they look like they're on platters. It reminds me of the creation myths of man being made out of clay
Uh-huh.
and being made together. And I like how it shows like it's him holding these two options, and it's like, are you sure these are the only two options that you have? These two little figures could be representations of the two different aspects of yourself, of reconciling your faith and what your focuses should be, or where you're going to go from that, on your path. What are they gonna, and it's like, why are you stuck to those two? Have you tried mixing the two together to make a new figure?
Yeah, I was just
It's sort of like that.
You made me think about that. It's like maybe his problem is in the decision of having to decide one over the other. Maybe there's a way to blend his path and his faith beliefs with what he's doing now, his new path. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know.
And I also like how the figure of the devil looks like almost like those glass covers, those bell jars.
Yeah.
It sits on top of them, and he's not really there. I like how because like the gap between under him, it's sort of like he's not really there. He's just like a ribbon that's kind of like then thrown over, and it just somehow falls or is in a moment that looks like the figure of a devil.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So the last card, or the outcome card, or whatever you want to call it, is the Wheel of Fortune. So I think that Wheel of Fortune is a lot of options, a lot of perhaps chance elements. In terms of reconciling your faith beliefs, maybe you just need to keep exploring and trying new things until you find something that falls into place and is a place of comfort, a new foundation after the tower being shaken up, that enlightens you, something that works and reconciles all these elements that you're having trouble with at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, my turn. So you've got the Seven of Water, which is the Seven of Cups, and to me, it's sort of like I said this term before, getting lost in the sauce, and the Seven of Cups is that emotional, spiritual exploration and journey that you can definitely get confused and overwhelmed with, and it could be, you need something that you can anchor yourself to, so you're not completely losing yourself and your sense of self. But it will help with like breaking that down and then rebuilding it. And the next card kind of touches on that. We have the Four of Stones, and it's this pillar, and I found it very similar to the tower. It looks like a tower. It's sort of like the untoppable, no, the intoppable, the what would be that which cannot be toppled, I should say. With this ruin here, this pillar still standing upright, proud, and erect. But it's still, there's power here. There's structure to it, and to me, it's like it's what has already been collapsed and worn out. Like you said, it matches up with the tower. What has been, what is in ruin that needs to be not cleared away, but to show you, like, oh, this was the strongest aspect of this. This is what still stands firm. This is still something that I can agree with and say, this is a pillar within my own self and my own being and my own beliefs. And then we have, like,
Wait,
you, the wheel of
there. Can I jump in there?
yes, what is it?
That pillar, it could be the last remaining bastion of his previous religious beliefs. And maybe it needs to come back, or maybe, like you said, it doesn't. Maybe it's the one aspect of the beliefs that needs to be held on to firmly and carried on. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, and it can also be like, you shouldn't, if you're afraid to let go of it, you don't have to force yourself to let go of it. Still, you can slowly, there's still things, I don't know what Will's past is. I'm assuming here Christian, maybe, I don't know, but that's, for me, it's like, I grew up Christian, very traditional stuff like that, religious stuff. And to me it was there's still like a small little twinge of fear every now and then of like, what if I am going to go to hell for this, or what if I shouldn't denounce all of my faith just yet. But it's like slowly eroding. Still, it's slowly going away. The last card, well, next to last card, we have the bottom of the deck to get through, but it kind of ties in with Robin's reading here. So, but this for sure, you also got the Wheel of Fortune as well. Things are changing. You're hearing the whispers of something, the winds of change, whispering through the Sphinx's head. You can also see fallen pillars in the past as well. In the ruins here of the desert, you still hear whispers of something that is maybe ringing true, or maybe it might not be true. It's like a mix between these. It's like, this is the top and then this is the bottom of that Wheel of Fortune. It's either infallible, structured and strong and foundational, or delusional, fluid, unstable, but spiritually rich. It's sort of like the two. It's like you're either having a spiritual revelation, or maybe you need to drink some water and take a nap. Like maybe maybe it's a little too much. That's kind of what I'm seeing into that. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords. It's a darkness. It's a fear. There's treacherous waters ahead. You got to be careful with where you're sailing to, and know which waters that you're comfortable sailing through versus the ones that you kind of want to, but you're not there yet to sail them. And that's what I got.
Okay. I'm not going to go back and do all the comments because there have been a lot. I'm just scrolling through to see if anything urgent needs addressing. Someone said the Emperor's power is vision. That's something for me to think about. Someone wanted to know about that if that was the Marielle. Yes, and now let's see. The dragon is supposed to be the devil. Okay. Some people had to leave. Okay, I think we pretty much covered a lot today, and
Mhm.
it's over 2 hours now. So thank you, and I appreciate both everybody being here, and Zach, I appreciate you for uh, venturing into this with me. Maybe if you're willing, we could do it again sometime.
Well, thank you for having me, for sure. I hope to. I hope to do more collaborations, but I just, well, yeah, I should be able to. It's
I
because
also,
I've started school, and that's like, it's me getting a hang of like my school schedule, what I can do, what I should be. I'm like, and then managing this. But yeah, I do want to keep this up, keeping my online presence present, and even if it's not on my channel, on other people's channels as well.
what are
So
you doing in school, or is that too nosy for me to
right
ask?
now, don't ask me my major. Don't ask me. I don't know that.
I'm
I'm still
asking you,
figuring that out. But
how old are you? How old are you?
I am. I'm 29. So
Okay.
I said I'm gonna take some time off first, and then yeah. But now I'm like, okay, I think it's time now. And so I'm doing right now. I'm taking an English, psychology, and anthropology class.
Okay.
Those three classes right now. So nothing too crazy. My college was like, you need to do more. I'm like, listen, I can barely handle these three.
Yeah. Yeah. You do what you can do. Just
Mhm.
moving. Keep on moving.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, so I was going to say you kind of, well, I sold Zach last week one of my clear out decks, which hasn't shown up yet, or we don't know because
It
we
may
have.
have. I'm pretty sure it has, but I have to. Yeah.
I'm curious when I do these clear outs just to get other people's reactions, because it's not. I do kind of hem and haw, and it's like, well, I'm letting this go because of this reason, and I'm curious to see other people. Oh, I would never let it go for that reason, or I don't care what you say, I would keep it. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm kind of weighing things out, and so yeah, I'm curious if you even wanted to come back when I'm doing a clear out and look at the decks I'm going through and give your opinions on them. Not that I'm going to listen to what you say if I'm ready to let
I'll
something go,
I'll
but
be in the chat. I'll for sure be in the chat, waiting
okay.
and seeing what else you got, because I'm like, I love the Nigel Jackson art. I don't have I should have brought it, but again, I could only bring so many decks with me. Even then, I still brought a
I
lot.
can't remember if that came with a book or not. If it did, I can't find it, and I think I threw the box away. It was a used copy that I got that I saw it on Masha's channel, and a
Mhm.
friend had loaned it to her. And then I went looking, and I think I found it on eBay. And when I got it, I shouldn't tell you this. I was grossed out when I got it because, well, you have long hair, so you won't bother
There
you.
was hair. There was hair in it.
There was a single strand of long hair in it, and something about that just freaked me out. So
Oh, did you clean them at least?
I threw the box away, and I saged the cards and everything, and I was okay with them. But yeah, it just like it forever in my mind. There's that notion of like that hair in the
Well,
box.
you're not eating it, thank God. But
No, no,
but it's still like
it's
it's still a thing. Yeah, yeah.
just
And I do believe it does come with a book. But I'm sure I can find the book somewhere else online. Like, one of the I hate one of the biggest pet peeves is looking for an out of print deck and they only sell the book because people keep separating the book from the deck. I will find every single person who
yeah.
has ever done that, separated the book and the deck, and
Yeah.
deal with them personally. Thank you. Yes. Wanted posters everywhere. I will hunt them down. Yes.
My rationale for letting that deck go, the image, the illustration style I really liked. I didn't like the card back design. I didn't like the size of the card because they're a little bit oversized.
Mhm.
And I never seemed to reach for the deck. And I don't know whether it was the memory of that hair or what, but it's just like, if I'm not using it, then don't, hang on to it. And he didn't reprint it, I don't think. He came out, was it the Rose Tarot or something else came out since that's very similar and yet very different. So
he has quite a few decks. He has that Nigel Jackson Tarot, which was, I think it was also called, here's the thing, it's also called the Medieval Tarot. And then we also have the Rumi Tarot. And then he also did the Rose Tarot. I'm like, I need to see a reprint of the Rumi and this deck, but I mean, now that I got it, I ain't got to worry about it. But but I think, but the Rose Tarot is really cool. It reminds me of, there's some things in it that look almost like, it almost kind of gives a Lenormand type of vibe to it. Very alchemical, which I was like, I love this. I love the alchemical imagery. He also did work for the astrological decans or the moon mansions with Warnock, Christopher Warnock. I think he's Renaissance astrology on YouTube, and Nigel Jackson did work with him, and I was like, maybe he should do a deck with the decans. I don't know.
The tricky part of clearing out and letting decks go is you have to be absolutely sure that some other channel or somebody isn't going to dig it up some 3 years down the line and re-interest you in it again, you know? And I'm pretty sure about this. In fact, if I see it coming up, I probably should change the channel. But in fact, if you do a walkthrough or readings with it or anything, I may not want to watch that. But I don't think it's kind of want to be one of those things where I'm regretting letting it go. I'm really, it's so weird. I have I think at last count I had about 180 decks, and then I stopped counting. So somewhere around 200. And I only have so much real estate. As you know, I don't even have room for a table, just a lap tray. So, I mean, the decks have started taking over my bed. I share my bed with a 3-tiered trays of decks piled up, and they're starting to cascade. So it's like, no, I need to make shelf space again to put decks back on and get them off my bed. And I keep, accumulating them, not as much as I used to. But I find that the ones that I use the most, there's about 5 to 7 of them that I hover around at one time, right around my bed within arm's reach. And I don't move on to another deck until something comes along that replaces one. And so it's like, I'm not even going back to the shelves and pulling old decks. I'm really just kind of like going through this period of these 5 that I'm using right now. And when I go out to the cafe, my partner bitches at me all the time. We're carrying a 40-pound shoulder bag. What the hell? It's got in it. I need them when I go to the cafe, because people tell you, oh, don't ask the same question of different decks. I like to do that and get different perspectives from the different. I'm not looking for a different outcome. I'm looking for different perspectives, and a lot of times the same card will come up to reinforce. So I actually love that each deck has a sort of a personality and something different to say. It's quite wonderful.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like you said, if you don't reach for it, and if you're not reaching for it and using it, why is it just taking up space in the collection? Like, it has to be moved along to someone that will work with it and use it. And that's why I sent mine off to a local metaphysical shop. I didn't get much money back from it, but I did clear up a lot of space. It was like decks I wasn't gonna use, and I didn't make money off of them.
It's weird. I'm in New York City, and there's like 2 metaphysical stores I know of within walking distance of me, and I don't think either one sells secondhand decks, so they wouldn't buy them, and I don't know what to do with them. I mean, I could donate them to Housing Works or something like that. And the first batch.
Goodwill.
What?
Goodwill,
yeah. The first batch that I got rid of, my friend Jen, who moved here from the Northwest with Elle, they live in the city now, and Elle was going back to school. And I said, look, you're a friend, and I can't see these going in the trash. Somebody has to do something with them. And I don't want to wade through eBay and all is involved in selling stuff. So I said, look, can I just donate them to you and to the L Education Fund to put towards her schooling? And so that's what I did. And in response, they didn't have to. They gave me, she gave me a set of Bose headphones that are amazing.
Oh, nice.
That it was one that she outgrew and didn't want it anymore and got a better model. And I love it. I really depend on. And then she also gave me 2 decks that were pricey that I didn't. She didn't use the Pagan Otherworlds, which I didn't have, and the Deck of the Bastard. And it's like both of them are decks that I don't fully embrace, but they have a certain quality about them that I really like having. So they're kind of like in my maybe shelf clearing thing. Like they won't leave, but it's like at least not now, maybe years down the road. But for now, I've got them. She also,
I believe I was also gifted the Pagan Otherworlds. I don't know if I think I ended up moving it along though in my initial clear out because I was like, I just didn't work with it. I'm like, just off of the basis of like, it's not really pagan.
Yeah.
Like
it's beautiful, artistic in a weird way that I can't. It's like antique-y looking, but something about it is a little off for me. I can't. But there was one card, and I can't remember which one it is. I want to say 2 of Pentacles or 2 of Wands or something. It was these 2 standing stone monoliths that were like leaning into one another. And when I started my relationship with my partner, I was reading and sharing cards with him, and I brought that over to read with. I said, this is us. I don't even remember if it was the 2 of Cups or the Lovers or what it was, but I said, atypical of the Lovers of the 2 of Cups, this is us. We're 2 70-something-year-old men sort of set in our ways. Our lives are set in stone and we're not changing much, but we're not exactly meshing or blending, but we're leaning in towards one another. It's a beautiful metaphorical card for our relationship. So I like the deck just for that one card.
That's good. That's sweet. Yeah.
All right, guys, I keep lingering on. If you'll hang around a second, Zach, so I could say goodbye to you personally and privately. I'll see everybody else next week, and I'll probably be doing the next shelf of the clear out, which is currently on my bed, but we'll have to either go back on the shelf or in a bag till next week. Okay, see you all, and I hope I do this right. Sometimes I leave the room before I end the stream and then leave my guest hanging. I don't want to do that this time. Okay, bye everybody. End stream.